Story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Gift Ogete. In our major story, the federal government says the Biu bomb blast in Borno State is a diversionary act by the Boko Haram group. Also in this program, the Presidential Campaign Council of the People's Democratic Party says the All Progressives Congress is planning to stimulate attacks on some of its leaders. The All Progressives Congress says it is surprised about the opposition of the presidency and the People's Democratic Party to the use of card readers for the 2015 general elections, describing it as a sign of plans to manipulate the elections. And outside Nigeria, the Belarus peace deal on the Ukrainian crisis is followed by fighting in eastern Ukraine. It's good to have you. Stay on with us now. Details of the headlines and other stories. The Minister of State for Power, Mohammed Wakil, has described Thursday's bomb attack on Biu main market as a desperate bid by the insurgents to divert the attention of the military from the ongoing war against them. While commiserating with the people and Emir of Biu over the bomb attack, he said the insurgents had been rattled by the successes recorded by the military in conjunction with the multinational troops presently engaging them at the fringes of the country. The minister advised the military not to allow the insurgents to divert their attention from the ongoing efforts to rid the region of terrorists. Wakil, however, sympathized with the victims of Thursday's and other attacks in different parts of the state, praying that God would grant the nation victory over the insurgents, while urging Borno people to rally around the troops. Nigeria's defense authorities have responded to comments allegedly made by Niger's military that its troops in the regional force would not run from battle like the Nigerians. The defense spokesman, Major General Chris Olukolade, said in a series of tweets on Thursday night that the claim was irresponsible. He argued that it was unacceptable for a foreign government to deride Nigerian soldiers. General Olukolade described Niger as a poor country and hinted that he had been supporting the insurgents. The cowardice claim attributed to an unnamed Nigerian defense spokesman emerged on some blogs in Nigeria a few days ago without a link to the original source. Nigerian local media reports that the suspected mastermind of different attacks by Boko Haram Islamist sect in Niger's Difa region near the Nigerian border has been arrested by Nigerian security forces. Niger's Afani private radio station says the suspect, known as Kaka Bono, is a trader based in Difa and has the title of a captain in Boko Haram and was behind all the attacks carried out in Difa. Elsewhere, security forces in Mainsurau town, 80 kilometers west of Difa, also managed to halt a suicide bomber who was carrying explosives. Nigerian forces have continued with the fight against Boko Haram and are still in the Nigerian territory, where they have liberated the town of Damascus that has been held by the Islamic sect for a long time. Security sources say suspected Boko Haram militants have carried out an attack on Chad, the first such assault on Chadian soil. The officials say the fighters crossed Lake Chad by motorboat and attacked a village on the shores of the lake. The Islamist militants were pushed back by Chadian troops after killing several people, residents say. Chad recently joined Nigeria, Niger and Cameroon in a military coalition against Boko Haram. The jihadists who want to create their own Islamic caliphate in Nigeria have killed thousands and forced millions to flee their homes in northeastern Nigeria since 2009. Operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission have arrested the son of former Adamawa State Governor Abdulaziz barely 2 weeks after he was declared wanted alongside his father. He was picked on Friday morning in Gombe State, and immediately flown into Abuja, where he's being grilled by investigators. EFCC spokesman Wilson Owujaren said in a statement that Abdulaziz is currently telling the operatives all he knows about illicit funds traced to companies where he has interest. The commission noted that the younger Nyako will have to explain how over 15 billion naira belonging to Adamawa State was laundered into the account of 5 companies owned by him, including an oil service firm and a bureau de change. EFCC claims the funds were funneled into the account of the companies from Adamawa State account domiciled in the New Generation Bank by the account officer, who incidentally is the manager and an in-law to ex-Governor Nyako. It ordered that the manager claimed he transferred the funds through verbal instruction from the former governor for purposes which are not stated. One of Abdulaziz's company is said to own, among other investments in Nigeria and a estate in Abuja, while his father's account officer owns several properties and investments scattered around Abuja, Yola and Kano. A federal high court in Benin, Edo State, has sentenced one Philip Agbodobri to 2 years imprisonment without an option of fine for offences bordering on obtaining money by false pretense and internet scam. Trial Judge Justice Peter Ajoko convicted him of engaging in fraudulent act contrary to provisions of the Advance Fee Fraud and Other Related Offences Act of 2006. Agbodobri, who is said to have used different aliases, including Graham Carlson and Orion Carlson, was prosecuted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, for engaging in internet scam. He was arrested in Benin by soldiers alongside 19 others and handed over to the Commission for further investigation and prosecution. Fear enveloped the city of Ado-Ekiti after a clash between students of the Ekiti State University and the driver unions over the hike in bus fare from Ado-Ekiti to the school campus. The alleged intervention of the operatives of the DSS, who allegedly shot indiscriminately, added to the confusion. Rashid, who has been monitoring the situation, filed in this report.
The talk on the 17 naira transport fare of the campus shuttle and the need to reduce the passengers carried by the bus from 10 to 7 has been on between the student leadership, school management and the drivers union for a while. But the center could no longer hold as students and the drivers clashed in Ado-Ekiti over the failure to shift grounds on both sides of the divide.
We need formation 331, but now they are taking us 442. But we want 331. Now they said there's nothing they can do about that other than their initial 442.
They are fighting for 331. We told them that if it's 331, there's no problem in that. That the matter of the issue is that they are going to pay 100 naira per seat. At this junction, they accept. But in the yesterday night, you know, some of our fans, they gather themselves, maybe they are students or not, but in the school premises, they continue damages our vehicles.
While the students and the drivers union pointing accusing fingers at each other, they also explained the alleged role of the operatives of the DSS in escalating the situation.
Usual way of harassing people, unknown to them that guy happens to be an SS officer. So it was that guy that called on the security personnel, the DSS.
As we are discussing, one of our SS just came and at the same time continued shooting. Gone. Even though there are officers they are there, which is not in order. So which I can prove my case beyond more than reasonable doubt. This is part of the ammunition. This is part of it. This is the part of the ammunition. It's still more than this, so.
Ekiti State Commissioner of Police Taiwo Lakano intervened by calming the situation, but the drivers and the students maintained their ground.
And if it should be 442, we want the money to be reverted back to 15 naira, which we have already been taking it. But now they want it to stay at that 442 at 17 naira, which that will be very difficult for us to concur with them.
Our own stand is that we accept of 441 at the 17 naira. If it's 331, you understand me? It's 100 naira.
The drivers have since downed tools, leaving the students stranded in a bid to reach their campus 20 kilometers away. Those stakeholders on the issue have promised a resolution on the matter soon. But until then, it's a 20-kilometer journey on foot for these students to acquire knowledge. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
And from Ekiti, the National Human Rights Commission has warned politicians to refrain from investigating violence during the build-up to the elections or prepare to face trial at the International Criminal Court. Chairman of the Commission, Chidi Odinkalu, handed down the warning while presenting a pre-election report and advisory on electoral violence in Abuja. He disclosed that about 61 cases of pre-election violence have been recorded in 22 states in recent times. Odinkalu ordered that 10 petitions have been received and are under consideration.
I believe none of us here wants to see a Nigerian leader end up practicing for lawn tennis in a prison cell in The Hague when we have enough lawn tennis courts here. If we don't want that to happen, then tell them, trust the National Human Rights Commission to do right by you and by our country. If they don't, we will opt out and let the International Criminal Court take control. But that would mean we have failed. It will mean we, all of us in this room and beyond, have also failed. And I think we are capable. I honestly think so. But the message must go out clearly to the politicians. If they don't want INEC and National Human Rights Commission to do this thing, the ICC and its warrants will take over. And at that time, all bets are off.
It's CoreTV Primetime News. The war of words between the People's Democratic Party and the All Progressives Congress as the 2015 elections draw near. Find out the details after this time out. Stay with us.
Daily dose of Scott's Emotion, which combines omega-3, calcium, vitamins A and D, supports the healthy development of your child's brain and body. Scott's Emotion promotes active minds and strong immunity in growing children. New Scott's orange flavor multivitamin emotion.
Welcome back. Thanks for still staying tuned. And now for details about CoreTV News, you can catch us on our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. And on Twitter at CoreTV News NG. And YouTube, it's youtube.com/CoreTV _ News. I will recap of some of our major headlines. The federal government says the bill bomb blast in Borno State is a diversionary act by the Boko Haram group. The Presidential Campaign Council of the People's Democratic Party says the All Progressives Congress is planning to stimulate a tax on some of its leaders. The All Progressive Congress says it is surprised about the opposition of the presidency and the People's Democratic Party to the use of card readers for the 2015 general elections, describing it as a sign of plans to manipulate the elections. Once again, you can always catch us on our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. On Twitter at CoreTV News NG. On YouTube, it's youtube.com/CoreTV/News. The People's Democratic Party's presidential campaign organization claims that the All Progressives Congress is plotting to stimulate attacks on some of its own leaders. These according to the ruling People's Democratic Party, as with a view to accusing the PDP of being responsible for the attacks. Spokesman for the campaign organization, Femi Fani-Kayode, said in a statement issued in Abuja that the opposition party plans to lay the blames on supporters of President Jonathan in order to portray the party as violent. He added that the PDP decided to raise the alarm in order to place members of the public and security agencies on notice of APC's intention. The All Progressives Congress presidential campaign team has frowned at the opposition of the presidency and the PDP to the use of card readers for the forthcoming elections. The party's presidential campaign team says it is a reenactment of PDP's agenda to manipulate the electoral process. APC said in a statement that by its spokesman, Garba Shehu, that it views it as part of a move to stampede the resignation of Professor Tahiru Jega before the appointment of Alaki, who will stop the use of the anti-rigging device. The opposition party argues that INEC's decision was born out of the need to ensure electoral integrity and consequently insist on the use of card readers for the forthcoming elections. The party added that it remained opposed to the use of soldiers for election duties. The All Progressives Congress has welcomed the assurance from the military of its commitment to its traditional and professional role rather than being exposed to politics. The Director of Media and Publicity of the party's campaign team, Garba Shehu, said in a statement in Abuja that APC was glad to hear the assurance from the firm's spokesman, Major General Chris Olukolade. He said the reassurance could not have come at a better time, adding that a politically neutral armed force is a prerequisite for free and fair elections. The party's campaign spokesman also promised the military that a Buhari presidency would be committed to improving the welfare of the armed forces to enable them effectively discharge their professional and constitutional duties. The All Progressives Congress in Osun State says the state chapter of the People's Democratic Party is operating an illegal torture camp. Addressing a press conference in Osogbo, the Osun State capital, the APC stalwarts, including some political office holders, accused the PDP senatorial candidate in Osun East, Francis Fadahunsi, of being the brain behind the illegal torture camp. The leader of the group, Idowu Korede, accused the PDP of intimidating, harassing and arresting members of the APC in Ijesha South.
Unwarranted intimidation and attack of our members by the members of the rival party, PDP, because our strong belief in the ethics of our party and the concept of Omoluabi. It is against the above incidents that we seek your immediate intervention in protecting the life, we are talking to the police now, in protecting the life and property of our loyal, dependent member who are subject to threat, intimidation, illegal and unlawful arrest, almost on daily basis.
But the PDP says the allegation is all lies and urged the APC to report the findings to security agencies.
There's no illegal detention anywhere. It's just a figment of the imagination of the losing APC in Osun State. If they have anything to complain about, they should approach the security agencies.
Politicians in Oyo State say they were not leaving anything to chance, as they will continue to work tirelessly till the day of the election. While the postponement came as a surprise to the political parties, who say they have spent so much on campaigns and were just expecting to vote and see the results. They say it is a return to the drawing board to re-strategize. The media campaign director for PDP, Victor Oluwadamilare, and the SDP media director, Wale Adele, however, differ on the solution to the challenges ahead.
Electorates in Nigeria can no longer be taken for granted. The electorate of 2015, of course, they are different from electorate of Nigeria 2011. So they are wiser, and they understand the intricacies, even among the illiterates. So you have to work very hard.
Immediately we came up with the party, people quickly jumped at us, remembering the good things of the MKO Abiola of those era, and linking him, he was a philanthropist, linking him with Sheima Kinde, a modern philanthropist too. So we don't, in short, it was like a wildfire in the Hamatan, spreading so widely, people embracing us. It's not, it's the party of the moment.
Though the elections have been shifted by 6 weeks, these three media directors for some of the major gladiators in the governorship race in Oyo State say they are confident of victory at the polls.
In the last 3.5 years, the electorate has seen what we are able to do. And as the governor always says, the electorate has gone comparative, is going comparative on a daily basis of what it has now, what it used to have, and is coming to a conclusion that is better served by the continuation of what it has at the moment. And so 6 weeks will not make any difference in the lives of the people. It's not enough to sway them. They are not fickle-minded. Our people are knowledgeable. They know that the difference on the scorecard at the moment is between violence of the past and the peace of the present.
The newly posted Assistant Inspector General of Police Joseph Mbo has urged the Ogun State Command of the Nigerian Police to be prepared for the battle ahead, the 2015 general elections. He says the police readiness will be a fire-for-fire approach. He made this known at the sensitization meeting of the Nigerian Police at the Erewera headquarters of the Police Command in Abeokuta. Olajumoke Olatunji was there. She found in this report.
The Assistant Inspector General of Police Joseph Mbo, while speaking to officers and men of the Ogun State Police Command, says his message is that of hope and courage. He admonished them to be battle ready and advised them to be guided by the fire-for-fire approach in their daily activities as the 2015 elections is few weeks away.
On that day, you must keep your face straight. Welcome, don't watch everybody, eagle eye, watch everybody. Make sure they are going to vote. Make sure there's no problem. Don't touch my policeman. If you shoot my policeman, I will shoot 20 of you. I will shoot 100 of you. Because we are coming to you for peace. We are not coming to you to come and kill you. You are not engaging us in gun battle. You are not the ones that are engaging us in gun battle. You are having communal clashes. You are politicians who are coming to settle you. And you want to kill us. I say resist. I tell you again, resist. Anybody who fires you, fire him back in self-defense.
He urged them never to forget the Constitution, that is the guiding principle of the police force, so that the residents of Ogun State can have a peaceful and credible elections devoid of violence.
We have a critical part, very important part to play in the forthcoming election. And our actions, our activities will go a long way to decide on these elections. So I've come to tell them that we must remain impartial. As far as the law is concerned, we are not going to respect anybody. And whoever you are, you will come to the polling booth and vote and go out peacefully. Anybody who comes there to campaign, even if it is the chief executive of the state, a constable at that station, at that polling booth will stop him.
While Nigerians adjust to the rescheduling of the general elections by 6 weeks, most will also expect a higher level of readiness by the security forces, especially the police, to ensure a violence-free and credible elections. Olajumoke Olatunji, CoreTV News, Abeokuta.
The Lagos State government has expressed concern over what it described as the taking over of traffic management responsibility by the operatives of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA. In a media briefing addressed by the state government, the State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Adekpaye, says decried what it called assuming of the responsibility of the Lagos State Traffic Management Agency. Biola Luwole completes the story and this report presented from our studios.
Amongst other things, the state government condemned the sudden repainting of roads in the state from black and white to green, white and green, and the illegal placement of outdoor advertisement by some federal government agencies.
It didn't start yesterday, but it occurred again yesterday. That is the 12th of February 2015, when we saw yet again some men and women in black uniform taking over the control of traffic at the Lagos toll gate end of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway.
On the issue of the White House, when this first happened in 2014, we called the attention of the Federal Ministry of Works, Federal Controller of Works, Lagos, and they informed that they are not the one painting Third Mainland Bridge. That was about shortly after the expansion joint was finished. I want to put on record, we have very good relationship with the Federal Ministry of Works and the Federal Controller of Works Department in Lagos. So also we have very good relationship with FEMA in Lagos. So we then contacted FEMA. The controller of FEMA actually came down to explain that they are the one doing the painting, and professionally he agreed that it is not right. But that is the directive.
The issue about federal road is a legal matter, and I think it's very clear from what has been said that when it comes to the control and regulation of outdoor, it vests that power in LASA, in Lagos State, the same way it does for the signage agency in Abuja, in Cross River. These are PDP states. It is very convenient when they come to Lagos to say that they don't recognize the LASA laws. That's the sort of things we're hearing now.
The state government also called on the federal government to call the affected agencies to order and forestall a breach of existing laws.
In view of this, we call on the FRSC, the Corps Marshal, the Honorable Minister of Transportation, Honorable Minister of Works, to actually look into this matter, have a discussion with farmers.
With the postponement of the general elections by the INEC, many Nigerians will expect the political class to play according to the rules.
The Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria has blamed the outgoing leadership of the Nigeria Labour Congress for the poor handling of the delegates' conference. National President of the Transport Union, Musa Isiwele, told CoreTV News that the elections should have been postponed in the first place. This, according to him, is because the controversy over a mass housing scheme involving the outgoing leaders is yet to be resolved.
These are the people who is the voice of workers at any time. The government they will come out to say, we say no to this, we are going to organize strike, we are doing this. But at the end of the day, look at what happened in their own family. They did not put it, there's already a crisis before that conference. They're supposed to have postponed the election and sort out that issue of land matter so that everybody will be calm before that election. Because before they go to that field, people already get set already, and they were annoyed. So that's what I was thinking. But we thank God no life was lost. So they schedule the election and conduct properly. But this one shows if they are organized and they are disciplined, the way they talk to government want to increase oil, they want to do this one, they are all the time at organizing the government. This one has exposed them and they are not even organized.
The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has launched an air ambulance service as part of efforts to enhance its operations. NEMA officials say the acquisition of the aircraft will ensure faster and safer evacuation of critical victims during emergencies. 4 medical personnel, including a doctor, are on ground to man the air ambulance in the first instance.
We've sourced all the medical gears that are up to international standard.
We've gotten all the accessories from live port support in United States of America, and we've done with the training. So this is more like a start, a takeoff, a launching of the project. But with this arrangement now, at least we can evacuate a patient comfortably, safely, like to wherever they want to, both basic and critical, like patient to anywhere in the world. And the standard is what you will obtain. It's what is obtainable outside.
So we've been working in association with NEMA since March of last year. The training is all geared to commissioning the capability, the air ambulance capability of the Nigerian air ambulance. It's gone very well. We've selected the first medical crew during the training, a flight doctor and a flight nurse manager, and we've also identified another 2 members who become go on the nurse medical panel. So we've got 3 ICU nurses and a doctor already recruited, and we'll be recruiting more doctors in the coming months.
It's CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take another break and be back with business, sports and stories outside Nigeria. Just stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back now to business. The World Bank on Friday has set aside more than $1 billion in risk financing to back the use of flared gas from oil fields across Africa to generate power. Senior Director of Energy, World Bank, Anita George, says the continent is hopeful new gas finds along the East Coast can boost power project about 700 billion kilowatt hours of power running for the whole year could be produced from all the gas flared routinely around the world. Nigeria is the worst flood of gas found when extracting oil, receives its first partial risk guarantee from the bank at $145 million in the 2013 to support the country's gas to power industry. Under the 10-year deal, Chevron Nigeria will supply the gas-fired carbine plant near Lagos to generate electricity. Another 2 Nigerian projects will bring the total risk financing to $400. Nigeria is ranked second on the global list of worst flaring nations behind Russia, bank officials say. Oil rose above $60 a barrel on Friday for the first time this year, bringing gains this week to almost 4%. Due to oversupply, the price of Brent crude collapsed from $115 in June to $45.19, the lowest in almost 6 years. Brent for April delivery LCOC1 was up $1.90 at $61 earlier. The International Energy Agency and the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries have raised at least 200,000 barrels per day, the estimate of demand for OPEC crude in 2015. The U.S. government's Energy Information Administration forecast OPEC will pump 140,000 BPD more. The Central Bank of Nigeria on Friday intervened in a special forex scale to boost liquidity in the interbank market and strengthen the naira. 2 large sales were down at 195 naira 50 kobo to a dollar, totaling $40.8 million. Also trading on Nigeria's foreign exchange market was delayed until after 10 a.m. to allow dealers to submit demand for dollars to the central bank. And it's time now to join Sabina Izoku for Stock Market Report.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report is brought to you by MTN.
MTN, everywhere you go.
Hello there and welcome to the Stock Market Report segment with me, Sabina Izuku. The equities transaction on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today as the Nigerian All-Shares Index depreciated by 1.25% to close at 27,585.26 basis points, with a market capitalization of 9.2 trillion naira. In all, a total volume of 513.8 million units of shares, valued at 7 billion naira, were exchanged in 4,436 deals. Seplat oil topped the gainers chart to close at 385 naira with 16 naira 80 kobo price, the difference, followed by 40 oil, Cadbury, Okomo oil, and flour mill. On the flip side, 7up topped the losers chart, followed by Guinness, Total, Dangote Summit, and Presco. Meanwhile, Guaranteed Trust Bank topped the traders chart, followed by UTC, Transcorp, Econ Transnational Incorporation, and Zenith Bank. Just before we wrap up the stock market report, here's the currency trade for today.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report is brought to you by MTN.
MTN, everywhere you go.
There you have it, Stock Market Report with Sabina Izoku. It's time now for sports with Brownson Umana.
Power style, that's what he delivered. Usain Bolt storming, Puyol with a flying lead.
No, taking him out in the lead.
Very thanks for joining me on our sport news tonight. I am Brownson Owana. Stephen Keshi has confirmed that the Burkina Faso Football Association, BFF, has formally spoken to him about taking up the coaching job for the Stallions. The out-of-contract Nigerian manager disclosed on Friday that Burkina Babes FA asked him if he is interested in head coach role vacated by Belgian Paul Put this week. The 52-year-old, who the Nigerian Football Federation NFF is considering to renew his contract after 8 months in his initial deal as Super Eagles coach expired, claimed the Burkina Babes have told him they want him to take charge of their national team. Keshi says he's in the dark about any proposed new deal from the NFF. Barcelona President Josep Maria Bartomeu has arrived in Madrid court to testify against tax evasion charges related to his signing of Neymar in 2013. Bartomeu is suspected to defrauding the Spanish state by 2.8 million euros in a controversial deal which saw the Brazilian arrive at Camp Nou from Santos. Sandro Rosell left his post as club president in January 2014 following revelations that the transfer fee had totaled around 86 million euros rather than the previously stated 57 million, but his successor is also in the crossfire. He is the first 7 Barcelona president in history to stand accused in a court of law. And now to some FA Cup fixtures in England this weekend. West Bromwich Albion will take host West Ham United. Derby County will travel to Reading. Blackburn Rovers will play host to Stoke City, while Liverpool will travel to Crystal Palace. Aston Villa in Sunday's fixture will play host to Leicester City. Bradford City will take on Sunderland, while Arsenal will take on Middlesbrough at the Emirates Stadium. And now to Spain, to some Spanish La Liga fixture this weekend. We see Sevilla take on Cordoba. Real Madrid will take on Deportivo La Corona. Getafe will take on Athletic Bilbao, while Espanyol will take on Malaga. Getafe on Sunday will travel to Valencia. Barcelona will play host to Levante. Rayo Vallecano will slug it out with Villarreal, while Celta Vigo will take on Atletico Madrid. And in Serie A this weekend, we'll see Sassuolo take on Fiorentina. Parma versus Napoli. Milan will play host to Empoli. And of course, Udinese will take on Lazio. Cagliari will play host to Torino. Roma will slug it out with Parma. Genoa versus Verona. Atalanta will slug it out with Internazionale. Chievo Verona will take on Sampdoria. while Cesena would slug it out with Juventus. And in Bundesliga this weekend, big games will be going on in Germany as Hoffenheim will take on Stuttgart, Werder Bremen versus Augsburg. Bayern Munich will play host to Hamburg. Borussia Mönchengladbach will take on Cologne. Bayern Leverkusen will take on Wolfsburg. And Rich Frankfurt will play host to Schalke 04. On Sunday's fixture, we'll see Hertha Berlin take on Sporting Club Freiburg, while Hannover 96 will take on Hadrom 07. Finally, on our sport news tonight, in the world of cricket, Australian captain Michael Clarke was on Thursday ruled out of his country's World Cup opener against old rival England after battling to shake off fully his hamstring problems. Coach Darren Lennon confirmed that Clarke would not play at Melbourne Cricket Ground on Saturday, but should feature in Australia's second game against Bangladesh in Brisbane on February 21. The 3-year-old Clarke top scored with 63, opening the battling in Wednesday's 188-run warm-up in the overs with the United Arab Emirates in Melbourne, where he bowled 2 overs. He was captain in Australia for the first time since his hamstring surgery almost 2 months ago. And that's a wrap on our sport news tonight. A very big thanks for being there. I am Brownson Uwana.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Good to have you still stay tuned with us. Now outside Nigeria, new shelling has been reported in the rebel-held East Ukrainian city of Donetsk and Luhansk, a day after a peace deal was reached in Minsk. There are no confirmed reports of casualties. Both cities are near the front line where the pro-Russian rebels face government forces. The ceasefire agreed in Belarusian capital is to begin in eastern Ukraine after midnight on Saturday. The EU has warned Russia of additional sanctions if the deal is not respected. On Friday morning, a military spokesman in Kiev said 8 members of Ukrainian's military had been killed in fighting against separatists in the past 24 hours. Doubts remain about the peace deal, which was agreed following marathon negotiations between Russia, Ukraine, Germany and France. And that's a wrap, but before we go, a reminder of our headlines. We told you that the federal government says the Biu bomb blast in Borno State is a diversionary act by the Boko Haram group. We also brought a report that the Presidential Campaign Council of the People's Democratic Party says the All Progressives Congress is planning to stimulate a tax on some of its leaders. The All Progressives Congress says it is surprised about the opposition of the presidency of the People's Democratic Party to the use of card readers for the 2015 general elections, describing it as a sign to manipulate the elections. And that's our show. Thank you so much for staying on with us. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Gift or Geta. Do have a lovely, lovely weekend. Good night and happy Valentine's Day.